Hello, you are welcome to this lecture, ACC 403D, Audit and Internal Review. The course has been divided into 6 main units, and in each unit we have 6 sessions coming together to make the unit. In this lecture, I'll be looking at Unit 1, Session 1. And Unit 1 as a whole is dealing with the theme, the nature, purpose, and scope of auditing. The nature, purpose, and scope of audit. And in this session, the focus is on development of auditing. Development of auditing. At the end of this session, this is the objective that must be achieved. You should be able to trace the evolution of auditing and describe how the subject has developed from medieval age to the modern day, to how auditing has developed over the years. You should be able to describe this subject. Now let's look at the historical background of auditing. Evolution of auditing dates back to the medieval age, and record have it that in ancient Egypt and Rome, people were employed to review work done by tax collectors and estate managers. It is also on record that in the medieval Britain, an independent person was employed by the federal barons to ensure that returns from tenant farmers accurately reflected revenues received from the estates. So this and many other ones, there are a lot to trace by the history or the historical background of auditing. Now, in those times, the emphasis was on detection of fraud and irregularities. So they employ these individuals to ensure that or to see whether they will be able to detect any fraud or irregularities with whatever engagement they have or for entrusting their resources to the care of others. Further developments in the discipline have changed the forms of auditing and made it more demanding and sophisticated. As we advance in the time of as things keep changing, the world keeps changing, the development or the discipline have also undergone some sort of reforms, and this has made it more demanding and sophisticated due to the kind of transactions or the past experiences and business dealings and co. That is making the auditing more demanding and sophisticated as well. Now let's look at the development of auditing today. Now, it has been recognized that whenever a fiduciary relationship with financial implication exists, there is a need for a knowledgeable outsider to independently and objectively review the account of stewardship and to express an opinion as to their honesty or otherwise. So, in a situation where you entrust your resources into the care of another person, there is a need for an outsider, a third party, an independent person to come and express opinion as to whether the person that the resource has been entrusted to is managing it well. The account of stewardship within the context of a company is how the directors have dealt with the investment or asset of the company on behalf of the shareholders. So they have to account for this stewardship, the resource that has been entrusted into their care, agent principal relationship. So there exists some form of fiduciary relationship and it must be accounted for. And we need an independent person like the auditor to express an opinion on this, to provide some kind of assurance and to see whether transactions have been done and recorded accordingly, to increase the confidence of whatever or whoever is going to make use of that information at the end of the day. Now, auditing today is deeply rooted in the concept of separation of ownership from management in the affairs of company. There are those who own the resources and not those that are involved in the management of the business. They engage the services of others, known as management. The owners are different. They own the resources, but they are not the ones who are involved in the day-to-day running or management of all the resource. So as a result of this, they now need the service of professional accountants to take up the demanding task of an independent examination of the financial record produced by management and to express an opinion as to their truth and fairness. Since those who own the resources are different from those who manage it, management is going to produce a report, a financial statement, and before the users and the shareholders can rely on it, they need an independent person, a qualified professional to review, to assess whether what management has presented is depicting the true and fairness of what they are dealing. And if that is the case, then it's going to provide some kind of assurance, some kind of confidence and reliability. Now let's look at the case of Ghana when it comes to auditing. Now in Ghana, the Companies Act 2019 at 992 was introduced or has introduced a compulsory audit requirement. So the appointed auditor have to be a member of ICA and must be qualified by any legislation, or in other words, he should not be disqualified by any legislation. That appointed auditor is expected to express an opinion on the truth and fairness of the profit or loss account and the balance sheet, both of which should be prepared by the directors and then presented to the shareholders at an annual general meeting. So this is what the auditor must do, and if you're able to express, go through the books to ensure whether it has been presented in a true and fair manner, then it will increase the confidence level or how people will rely on the information that has been provided and to use it to make a decision. So in summary, we've been able to look at the history of auditing, its development till date, and the case in Ghana. In the next session, we'll be looking at some definition and objective of auditing. Thank you and see you in the next lecture.